There's adverts in the paper welcoming the Chinese president. I mean, around London, there's Chinese lanterns everywhere. The place is awash with kind of welcoming posters. Yeah. What did you make of this all?
Well, I've got to be honest. I got here this morning and we were talking about this, and I held my hand up and I was the one, can you believe, that kind of went, I don't understand. I don't know what the fuss is about. And also, there's a lot of anger involved as well about how they're being treated, and a lot of protesters. I have since read the paper this morning, and also I was very, very told off by Janet. So, Janet explained to me again what it's all about.
It couldn't be a more embarrassing timing for David Cameron, because we've been hearing of thousands and thousands of job losses in the steel industry, largely brought about because of the Chinese cheap steel coming from China, where people work. There's no such thing as a minimum wage, there's just a wage. And of course, we're in the EU and we are bound by all sorts of good laws governing what people have to be paid per hour. So our steel industry is really, really suffering, and they announced even more thousands of layoffs today. And you've got to balance that against why we are welcoming the Chinese and conveniently ignoring their appalling human rights record, where freedom of speech, well, you wouldn't have a show like this airing in China at all. Nor would you be allowed to Google people or go on the internet and search for things in an unfettered way either. So we've decided to ignore all that because we need their money. We need
£30 billion
we need them to do business with us.
We're talking about.
And also, if you look at how important Chinese tourists are to our economy, you can't walk around London at the moment. There are thousands and thousands of Chinese tourists keeping all our big department stores open, buying up every handbag in sight, and also buying a lot of our property. So China is investing a lot of money in this country.
Yeah, and I think we have to be pragmatic. We don't have a choice. You know, experts are saying by 2020 China's going to be the biggest economy in the world. And the way we should look at it, if you look at the kind of influence America has on us, that's the sort of influence China is about to have on us, and we have no choice. Also, that when we look at what's happened with the steel industry, this is about to get worse, because the jobs of the future, the Chinese are preparing their young people for those jobs, and we're not.
They've got a huge workforce, as Janet said, they're not paid, we have a minimum wage.
But they're also training them in the jobs of the future. We're not. It's going to be science, it's going to be technology that are the big employers. So I think we kind of need to get real. I'm sorry.
Very, very two-faced.
Sort
of.
Is that
what you're trying to say?
But nothing
being pragmatic. Yeah.
Nothing can detract from what Colleen...
That's a very big word for two-faced.
OK.
So, Colleen, what you said earlier about the steel industry, the impact of these closures on these communities is exactly the same as the impact of the closing the mines, the coal mines, on those communities. And it has taken several generations to equip those people with new skills and so on.
And still not so much.
And even still not so much. Yeah. But the steel industry has gone through ups and downs. I remember going to Corby Steelworks, 20 years ago, and it had contracted then. So the thing is now, what can we train those people in, as June has said, for the future?
Yes.
Because the effect on them now is devastating.
Which is going to cost us money to do that,
yes,
or to, give them the benefits they deserve if they're unemployed.
So
where are we? Yeah, but
so
we're not saving money by buying cheaper steel. I don't understand where it works out, really.
Well, you're importing the cheaper steel, but they're saying that...
But people are losing their jobs.
But also, we over here are used to... We're used to certain prices that we want to pay for these things. We don't want to pay above what price we're used to paying now.
So we'll just pay all the people we're putting out of work. So
there's another analogy. In the dairy, if you look at dairy farming, we're importing cheap milk from Eastern Europe and putting our dairy farmers out of business. It's exactly the same story.
It's kind of trade over ethics, isn't it?
Exactly.
Morality,
trade is all about
to balance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Balancing trade versus, ethics is a really difficult question.
They've got the big state banquet this evening, so if we can just get through that, maybe they won't sit Prince Philip next.
And she doesn't really change that much, which I really love as well. Yeah. I mean, she has a kind of understanding of wanting and needing to appreciate everything that you have. I think that's what she learns. But she really is a spiky, self-centred narcissist.
I loved her. I'm worried about myself.
We're also talking about friendship, because I gathered that you got in touch with Drew
Yes, I
to
did.
ask her to be in the show.
I sent her a love letter.